I haven't used this in like a week.
Mike and I just were out and we washed the Bronco
with the trusty foam cannon. It has been at least a week since I used this.
Yep.
But wash, dry with the leaf blower. That gets the heavy stuff off, and then wipe it down a little bit. But
looks pretty good.
How you liking the Bronco, Melissa?
I love the Bronco. I love the Bronco, and I'm sorry that I was quick to be like, let's give up. And it was a long wait, though. We do have to say. We're
coming up on 1 year since since we had this, and we only have about 5,000 miles on it so far.
Yeah, and they're probably all me. Well, no,
so at that rate, it's going to last us a very long time, which is good.
I do like it. It drives nice. It's fast. Yeah, I'm
going to check the forecast here, and if it looks like it's going to be decent next week, I think we'll take the top off the Bronco one more time.
Wow.
We've only had it off once, but that was probably for almost a month. But it's nice. It is. It's fun to drive, and
it is fun to drive.
So far, so good. But I have something else to show you that I just discovered besides the foam cannon. Where do you see this thing? Check this thing out right here. I have been seeing these around. I have no idea how long they've been out. I don't know much about them, but I went out on the limb the other day and pulled the trigger on one of these things. $10, okay? And what it is, it's a little torch. So this is a refillable butane torch. Now, I always have a torch like in the truck and the side-by-side, you know, for starting fires out here, or for, you know, you go down to West Virginia, you want to burn some brush, whatever you need. This thing has a bottle opener on it, which I'll probably never use, but it's got a lock right here. You can lock it or unlock it. You can control the flame with this right here. Even has a little stand on it, which kind of has a lot to be desired. If it's on a perfectly flat surface, it works, but it does fall over. I'll show you how this thing works. So, lock is on, won't ignite. Take the lock off. Check that out. I don't know if you can see that flame. Very, very nice blue flame. Melissa's gonna burn a leaf right here. And like I said, it's refillable as well. And what's nice is you can turn it on and you can set the lock, and you don't have to hold the trigger the whole time. Pretty slick. So I'll put a link in the description for the foam cannon, and people have been actually tagging us in videos using these. Work great. Use it on all the vehicles, tractors, and equipment. And I also will put a link in there for the Torch Blue. Like I said, I don't know how long this will last. It seems pretty decent quality. It's made out of plastic, but the guts are metal. But I've been playing around with this thing for the last week or two, and works really good. Let's start a fire, Melissa. So we have just been kind of hanging out here by the fire this evening. Beautiful night though, isn't it?
Beautiful night, yeah. Low humidity. The fire's been great to sit here and relax.
Now you're going to...
Now we gotta move.
Yeah, she's going to run me down to my mom's. I have the skid loader down there. I want to bring it back tonight. I have just a couple piles of dirt to kind of smooth out before I bring it up. But want to run me down a sidekick?
Sure. Let's go.
So we started this video last night, and today I've been doing a lot of what you're seeing here. A lot of staining boards. We got a bunch of sawhorses set up inside the building, but to be honest, I kind of like it out here just for the fact that the lighting is a little bit better.
Looks good.
Than inside. But we can do about 20 boards at a time now, which works out to about I think 160, 170 square feet. So we're definitely picking up the pace.
It's a process.
It is a process, isn't it? Something else I did when I first started, I don't know what I was thinking. I had a water-based polyurethane, and it's okay. It pretty much looks the same as this, but this is better. It just goes on better. It covers better. We're just putting one coat of polyurethane on. So if you didn't see that video the other day, basically we sand these pretty quickly with 220. Then we put like a pre-stain treatment on it. And that's very easy to do. You can't really screw it up. Then we stain it. We're using colonial oak, and after we stain it, we polyurethane it. But it works out good, don't you think?
I think it does. It's a process, but yeah.
We were just talking
really
there
nice.
a minute ago. I was looking for something to stir this can, and Melissa was looking for something. And what did you say when you bent over in there?
Oh my gosh. Well, I picked it up, this thing for him to stir this with, and I said that could go either way. I was bending and stretching, and it was to the point where I was either going to hurt myself or...
You have to plan everything anymore.
I know. I'm like, wait. It's crazy. Craziness.
The upside to staining outside, like I said, is you can see better. Downside is you get an occasional bug that lands on it. Last week I was out here one day and I'm staining boards, and one of them chickens jumped right up on there, and then I tried to scare it. It like scratched it all up. It was a whole thing. Oh, we also had some major progress in the building this week too. I'll show them that here in just a second.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right, 4 more done. Now this stuff dries probably in about hour and a half, I think. It doesn't take too long. But it's nice of you to be out here, Melissa, to point out you missed a spot, you missed a spot.
You're welcome.
Right now, well, I'm going to show them what happened in the building this week, and then I'm going to run down and do some spraying at my mom's, come back up, put a coat on all the boards inside, and then I want to brush hog that trail that goes out that way and all the way down. I never got to that one this whole year.
I know. I'll go out there with you.
Okay. Yeah, you can run the sidekick out.
Okay.
So it looks a little different in here. I got all the insulation done. Well, all the insulation in the walls. Next up, I got a guy coming to do the ceiling in the garage part, and over in the game room, it'll be like a metal ceiling, like a liner panel. That's something I do not work well with metal at all. I mean, hey, there's the FedEx guy out there. But those guys did all this insulation, 2 of them.
Yeah.
In the whole building, 40 by 72. What? They got here at 8 a.m. and they were done like at 2. Crazy how fast they were.
Yeah.
The one guy said he'd been doing it for 33 years.
Oh, that's crazy. They did a great job.
But it is much quieter in here. And it's also cooler. When the sun's out, it's already cooler. So once we get the metal ceiling in, blown in insulation will be up there, but all the wiring's done, all the plumbing's roughed in. Now it's just putting up thousands of feet of tongue and groove along with some other stuff. All right, so I'm heading down to my mom's place now just to do a little spraying. But I'm always thinking, you know, trying to plan things out. Sometimes you don't stick to the plan and things don't work out. But we are fast approaching the middle of September right now. So I've been trying to figure out like a schedule of what I need to get done before the weather gets real bad. And one of those things is the driveway down in West Virginia. If you watched those videos last week, I might have 1 or 2 more trees to take down, but I'm getting pretty close to stoning that driveway, and I have to get that done before the weather gets bad. And down there, I think it probably snows sooner than it does here. It's a much higher elevation. They get tons of snow down there. So I definitely have to get that done, you know, for hunting season, things like that. We don't want to be going down there and pulling up in the mud and stuff. I want to be able to get in and out, have a nice circle drive. Need to put up a few deer stands down there. We have been looking at those cabins again. I think that is the direction that we're going to go. And I mentioned before, that's not the permanent solution. It'll end up probably being a guest cabin when we build something else down the road. But that'll get us in there pretty quick. But I got to get that done. But believe it or not, we've got a lot of things going on. But I am in much better shape this year going into winter than I was last year. So once we get that ceiling in the building and the insulation up there, it really doesn't matter what it does outside. We can be doing stuff inside. And one other thing, we're going to be having a building built down here for the sawmill, the new sawmill, which I don't know when it's coming yet. Should be soon. Probably the end of October, beginning in November. We're on the schedule. It's just going to be like a big pavilion, a 32 by 48 down here. And once we figure out like the workflow and stuff, we'll probably put some walls up here and there. But it'll just be a big building for the sawmill, for the excavator, the skid loader, tractor attachments, things like that will be in that building, or under roof I should say, and I went real high with the ceilings, 14-foot ceilings, and it won't take those guys long at all to build that. The same guys that did the shell of our building up there will be doing this one down here. I imagine they'll have it up in 4 days, something like that. Shouldn't take long at all. It's going to be big, long posts though. Like I said, 14-foot ceilings, some pretty big trusses and stuff, but I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, we should be all set for winter here sometime in the next month or so, month and a half. And we're getting real close to wood cutting season. Somebody asked that question the other day. They said, why haven't we been cutting wood? Normally we do most of our cutting and splitting in the fall into early winter, and then the wood will be ready for the next year. It's just a good time to do that. It's nice and cool, and there's not as much other stuff going on. So we'll be getting back into wood cutting mode big time here in the next week or two. Usually Paul Bunyan's show kind of kicks that off. You go to that show 1st of October. Boy, when you get back from that, all you want to do is cut wood. And by the way, if you've never been to that show, the Paul Bunyan show near Cambridge, Ohio, Melissa and I will be there again this year. It's a great time. If you can make it out, stop by and say hi. I think it's October 7th, 8th, and 9th, something like that. We'll talk more about it as we get closer, but you can look it up if you'd like. And it's a great show. It's like that Boonville, New York one, probably even a little bit bigger than Boonville, but they're both good shows. Every time, it never fails, I go for a ride in the side-by-side. I get sidetracked. And this is one of those times. Huh. Two big dead oaks right there. 1, 2. Then way up the valley, actually I don't even call this a valley, that's like a gorge. You get up in there, it's really steep. But I see another big oak up there about 150 yards. Looks like it went up about 25 feet and broke off. These two I could get to. That one up there, I could get it, but it takes some doing. That's another thing I need to make some time for before the weather gets bad. I just need to take a couple days and go around and collect some downed trees. On the other side of the pond there, up on the hill, I showed them in a video a couple months ago, but we had a bad windstorm and it was kind of like a domino effect, but there's several big oaks and a big cherry down up there. But yeah, I need to put that on the list. All right, got all the spraying done down at my mom's. I'll give you a better look at what I did here the other day. I've got this massive brush pile right here to burn up this winter. This side over here, I'll just throw some grass seed on this over the next couple weeks sometime. And I'll be able to mow all this. And then down here, I mentioned the other day, I need a section of pipe right there to extend that out some so I can fill that in. This bank right here, I may throw some grass seed on it, but it'll just get taken over by weeds anyway, but it won't hurt. Anyway, we're gonna head back up to the house. I just stopped here below the pond. Right up there, there's a deer watching me. I think it's a doe. I don't see any other ones with it. But right up past that deer, up on that hill, that is where those big oaks are down that I was telling you about. You know, it's funny, I need these reading glasses, these cheaters, to read anything. I mean, I can't see it all up close, but I can be riding around in this side-by-side, and there's another one right there. And I just looked over there. And I can pick out a deer 100 yards away through the woods, no problem at all. That one is a buck. right, just got back to the house. That was about half mile of trail that I did, just under a half mile. I'm telling you, this setup right here is very, very nice for that trail maintenance. The MX 5400, it just has like a nice stance to it. It's stable out there. Some of the hills are real steep. I don't have a lot of side hill here and there, but where I do, this handles it really well. Well, it's going to get dark soon, so I think I'm going to wrap this video up, get back inside the building, and work on some more of that tongue and groove. But don't forget, from the beginning of this video, which was yesterday, foam cannon, that little torch thing is pretty cool. I will put links in the description and pin a comment as well. Also, fall is coming. If you want a hat, shirt, or hoodie, there'll be a link for that as well. But I think that's about it. Oh, and don't forget, Paul Bunyan show, if you can make it. It's a great show, and it would be nice if you'd stop and say hi. But that's about it. Appreciate y'all being here, and I will catch you on the next one.